Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in Game 1 in a series between Grubby versus Vortix here on Whirlwind LE. Grubby spawning as the red Protoss player on the top left hand side of the map as my mouse jumps down. Meanwhile over here on the top right we do have Vortix spawning as the blue Zerg over here on the top right hand side of the map. Once again, I am using a new encoding format. Please let me know how it sounds. I did make some updates so that the audio is now a bit better, and hopefully this does improve the overall experience for you guys. So this is going to be now a Protoss versus Zerg, a matchup that I'm quite familiar with. It seems like a lot of the games seem to be PvZ as of late, and we'll see what goes down in this particular game here. Vortix now just waiting to see if he goes for a spawning pool or a hatchery first. Wouldn't be surprised if he does go for a hatchery first here on Whirlwind, just because the map is so large. Meanwhile, taking a look at Grubby, Grubby has yet to place down a gateway, but it looks like he will be doing the typical gateway expand. But no, he is not actually going to be scouting with this probe. A little bit of an interesting timing on the scouting. Then he's actually going to be confined inside his own base. He is going for the assimilator as well, meaning he's going to be getting that cybernetics core and delaying that nexus. Most likely this will mean a mothership core expansion as a probe now on the way out to do a little bit of scouting. One thing to note though, this overlord of Vortix is going to keep track and figure out where his opponent is relatively early, as the overlord just flies in and will get sight of this pylon. Once this pylon is spotted, it will be up to Vortix whether or not he wants to reveal. He knows where his opponent is, and Grubby now coming in, gonna have a cybernetics core on the front door, something of an old front door back from the Wings of Liberty day. So far, we are looking at Vortix setting up an expansion here on the top right-hand side of the map. Natural expansion, nothing too out of the ordinary. Still no gas by Vortix so far, just now setting up that extractor. The probe will take a quick look around inside the space, and he will figure out what's going on here, and then attempt to pull back. Meanwhile, the Overlord, knowing that that cybernetics core is nearing completion, doesn't want to keep this Overlord in here for far too long, and will be backing away with it. So far though, interestingly enough, we don't see a nexus coming in at the natural expansion location. This is going to be sometime around the 4-minute mark, and this 4-minute mark expansion is a little bit delayed. We'll see what comes of this, as he is now going into cybernetics core, and he is now also going into that mothership core. I'm used to having a much quicker nexus on Whirlwind LE, just because the economy is so important in this particular matchup. Zerglings now clearing every which corner of the map, looking for proxy pylons that do not exist yet, as this probe now just barely runs outside of the sight of this one overlord. Now, Grubby could make some magic happen here, perhaps trying to set up a ninja building of some sort, probably a ninja tech of some sort, as opposed to, say, trying to place down a proxy gateway or a proxy robotics facility or proxy Stargate. Now, we are looking into an economic game here, 18 over 24 harvesters. Meanwhile, 8 over 24 harvesters here. Vortix very happy, confined to just training up a whole bunch of drones and setting up a strong economy. Grubby, on the other hand, just now finishing up his nexus here at the 5-minute 35-second mark. He does have a wall of gateways as well, just in case the Zerglings want to try and run by. You can see here, Overlord just in position, wanting to intercept perhaps any units that come down that ramp. Also, he can see what's going on right at this front door. Very good positioning here, making sure he knows what's going on. Meanwhile, across the map, you can see Zerglings now trying to clean up a Stalker here. The Stalker cannot slow down. Those Zerglings do not have metabolic boost just quite yet. It is going to become very close. 7 seconds, and this could all of a sudden turn around here. Those Zerglings trying to get some easy shots off onto that Stalker, and does get a good surround. The Stalker does end up getting pushed back here, and there it goes. Vortix with first blood, getting a big unit kill as the Zerglings, for some reason, are trying to push their way through. This is not going to be a good position at all. The Zerglings now finally deciding to back off. Meanwhile, Mothership Core and Zealots have arrived over here on the far side of the map, and these Zerglings will be getting back home in a hurry. Multiple gateways, 4 gateways on the field. Roach Warren now coming online. That is obviously to counter these gateway units here, as the Zerglings just simply run by all of these units here. Not quite sure why Vortix is just running around with these low hit point Zerglings. The Zerglings should be able to spot this pylon here. It does find Grubby's proxy pylon. Will be able to clean it up as the Zerglings now back off once more. The Zealots and the Mothership Core, without any reinforcements, may decide to back off here, but there is still a probe here on the bottom right hand side of the map. Vortix may be a little bit caught off guard when he finds a whole round of gateway units once again inside his base, as the Zerglings are once again trying to push their way through that front door. There you see another force field has been taken. A couple of Zerg guts on the ground there, but nothing really all that much. Zealots now making another charge inside the base. You can see that a drone is now making its way over. It's going to be able to grow up and be a hatchery unless challenged. The Roaches have arrived, and the Roaches do have a much a faster movement speed here while they are on blight. While they are on creep. Vortix engaging, trying to take down some of these creep tumors. Very nicely played by Grubby as a Mothership recalling, heading back home. A couple units were taken back down here, but as we now see the Mothership Core and the Zealots have returned home easily. Grubby now trying to fend off the attack here. You can see a Phoenix now making its rounds, and it will be heading out across the map. So far, we are looking at 3 bases to 3. Both sides really setting up a strong economy, but not doing much besides that. 60 workers compared to 53. No one has really been letting up at all. You can take a look. Harvester count 51 to 58. It is pretty even in terms of the overall. And in terms of the overall pace of the game, Immortals now making their way out. No level 1 weapons upgrades just quite yet for the Protoss. Meanwhile, the Zerg does not have level 1 weapon upgrades either. You can see that Grubby is moving out, adding in an Immortal into his push here, and surprisingly taking the Nexus here at the 12 o'clock location. Now, will he be able to place down a pylon and some gateways here to prevent a run by? This is a little bit of a risky maneuver. You can see that there is a pylon right here, and we are just waiting to see what buildings Grubby adds here in order to prevent any more run-bys in this location. There is a photon cannon already coming into play. Zerg is now going to try to test that front door, and it is completely blocked off with 1 Zealot. And now there you have it. More buildings now making their way in. So far, this one particular pylon is going to get destroyed here. This backup pylon, is it going to warp in time? It does not look like it. And that photon cannon will get completed. Meanwhile, engagement off over here. A lot of force fields as all the units, I believe, yes, Mothership Core did recall back home. And now it's going to be a mad rad dash here to the 12 o'clock location. 1 photon cannon is up. Zealot's now trying to get in position here. Another pylon coming into play as well. So there's going to be 3 pylons. Mothership Core has arrived as the engagement's now coming in. The Roaches, they are going to be able to engage here rather easily. And now with the Nexus in play, we should see a photon overcharge coming in here rather quickly. Are we going to see it? Yes, there you go. There's the photon overcharge. A great battle here as so many Roaches and Hydralisks trying to fight back. So far, it looks like all the damage is being absorbed up by those Roaches. The Hydralisk unable to get into position, and Grubby should be able to hold on to this Nexus. Beautifully defended, but at what cost? Roaches are still charging in. You can see those Roaches supply inefficient units, so to speak, but they are enough to really handle what Grubby was trying to do here at the expansion. It is 3 bases to 3 as Vortix now trying to macro up and mass up a larger army. Army supply 37 to 58. That is almost 2 to 1 in favor of Vortix. There is no Colossus on the field, and now with muscular augments, those Hydralisks are going to be rather fast as well. Immortal comes into position. Zealots, sentries. Are we going to get off a force field? Yes, we do. The Mothership Core is still there. And the Mothership Core unable to really engage in these fights as long as it wants to, just because there are Hydralisks on the field. Normally, Zerg players have not been going Hydralisk, but with the introduction of Hydralisk, the Mothership Core is not able to get free attacks off like it was during the early portions of the beta. Mothership core now cleaning up, or gonna get cleaned up here. There it goes. It does get taken down, and I believe a Vortix will be taking game 1 in this series. So many Hydralisks, so many Roaches, probes now getting taken down, and with more than a 2-to-1 supply advantage, the GG should be coming in as Vortix takes a 1-0 lead in this series. So far, so many of those photon cannons, pylons have been destroyed. It looks like the probes will be slipping back through. The final supply down to 63 compared to 150. 100 and, 87 supply difference. Almost 3-to-1 at this point, as the Hydralisks are now just charging in on this front door. One gateway has gone down. The walls have been broken through. And there is the GG. Grubby leaving the game. And there is game 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1 in this series. Please stay tuned for game 2.